All right, so in week 6, the Raiders got a very nice victory over the division rival Denver Broncos in Denver. And final score 34-24, so a lot of offense for the Raiders. Decent amount of offense for Denver as well. And this game had a lot of meaning to it. It had a lot of meaning because these teams coming into it both had the same records, and they're obviously division foes. They both had a 3-2 record coming into it. Raiders obviously won and the Denver Broncos lost, so that changes things. But that was important, and it really kind of showed who would kind of take an edge in the division, because for every week it's been, both teams started out 3-0, and both teams had 2-game losing streaks. Another reason why this is a very important game is this was Rich Bisaccia's first game as the Raiders interim head coach, and I think this was very, very important for him because the John Gruden stuff in the past week was definitely taking a toll on our team. And I think that very, very showed greatly in the game against the Bears last week. That was not a good game at all and lacked a lot of the things that this game contained. I mean, the Raiders' defense in this game was great. They intercepted Teddy Bridgewater 3 times. They got a fumble recovery. I mean, that's stuff that would have been unheard of last year from the Raiders defense. The Raiders defense was great today. And yeah, they did allow 24 points, but the Broncos scored a lot of points, or actually over half their points in garbage time. In the fourth quarter, they scored 14 minutes, and they were 14 points, and they were already down by a lot. And Josh Jacobs made himself more present. Kenyon Drake had a receiving touchdown, great for him. So the running backs were definitely back into a rhythm, which was kind of an issue in the past. Derek Carr played great. 2 touchdowns, 341 yards. This guy is playing like an MVP candidate, and although he might not win it because there's other quarterbacks playing very, very well too, I think Derek Carr is the MVP in all of our hearts. He is so good. A lot of good receiving by the Raiders too. Henry Ruggs, 3 receptions for 97 yards. He's always out for the big plays. I mean, Ruggs is always clutch, and this year so far, he got a really big touchdown, 50-plus yards on the first Raiders drive, and that was the first opening drive touchdown for the Raiders all year, which was big. Bryan Edwards had clutch catches too. He had 2 receptions for 67 yards. Waller did good as usual. But I think receiving, really we got to give all the credit to Henry Ruggs, kind of putting us over the top. Trayvon Merrick got his first career interception for the Raiders. That was great. Brandon Faison got one too. He's also a player that's kind of under the radar. And also Jonathan Abram towards the end of the game. So that was good. And, the Raiders, they didn't play their best at the beginning. But, I mean, they really showed up in the third and fourth quarter. The Raiders scored in every quarter. They scored 10 points in the first, and they actually missed a field goal towards the beginning of the game. So that was a little bit unfortunate, and there were times where I thought maybe the Broncos could come back, but Teddy Bridgewater is not a good quarterback anymore. And that's unfortunate for Denver. I mean, he had about the same passing yards as Carr. Not more, but he had 7. There was a 7 difference, but he threw 3 interceptions, and it just wasn't enough for Denver. They quite simply did not play good. Denver's on a 3-game losing streak, and it's crazy to think because they started out 3-0, albeit they played pretty bad teams. The Raiders are back in the win column. They were on a 2-game losing streak, and with the win today, they're 4-2, which is good. They're going to play the Philadelphia Eagles next week, and I have a good feeling about that. I mean, the Eagles have a good quarterback, and they have Heisman Trophy winner Devontae Smith, but I'm not really worrying about that yet. I think Rich Bisaccia did great today. Honestly, as an interim head coach, I did not expect a special teams coach to really do this. And his play calling seemed a lot better, and most of it was actually Carr's responsibility. And Carr looked more like a leader out there than usual. And I think that's something he needs. I think, instead of these really conservative play calling, like running on 3rd and 10, Carr was not afraid to throw it deep. And that showed with these Henry Ruggs catches, these Bryan Edwards catches, that Kenyon Drake touchdown. I mean, that was amazing. And I think the Raiders really showed they were a good team in this. 34 points is great, and the Chargers lost. They got destroyed, so that helps our divisional standing. So does this, of course, because we beat a divisional rival. Kansas City won, but we're tied for first in the AFC West. And Chargers did not play good today, kind of scoreboard watching that. But I'm delighted with the Raiders play today. I loved it. This was a fun game to watch. I enjoyed really every moment of it because there was no point where the Raiders were really, like most of our wins have come from behind. Actually, all of them have come from behind. This one was not. We were in control this whole game, and I think you got to give a lot of credit to Rich Bisaccia for setting the tone early. And Josh Jacobs also back in. Kenyon Drake, the run game was an issue, and it was a lot better today. Max Crosby also on defense, I forgot to mention. Stellar. Max Crosby was stellar today on the defensive line. He was amazing. Max Crosby, he had 3 sacks in the game. I think this guy's definitely a Defensive Player of the Year candidate in my books. So, yeah, anyways, guys, that's going to do it. Raiders moved to 4-2 with a 34-24 victory over the Denver Broncos in Denver, Colorado. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I'll see you guys later. And, yeah, go Raiders.